Hello and welcome. I wanted to talk to you about one of our assignments this week. We are going to be practicing writing a two-chunk paragraph using the transition lead-in quotation format. And I just want to do a quick overview of the materials I provided so that you can understand it. So you'd start here, and this is actually a good guideline for a full essay, but right now we'll be focused on just a body paragraph. So you're just going to take the first body paragraph from your outline for your research project, and you're going to fully flesh it out into, completely articulated paragraph. And so, of course, body paragraph is one of at least three or more paragraphs that address the topic or the ideas of the essay, and we're going to do two chunks. And so that includes a transition word, a topic sentence, a concrete detail. Many times it'll be a quotation, not always. Two commentary sentences, another concrete detail, two more commentary sentences, and a concluding sentence. It is no less than 8 sentences. However, it can be longer. You can have 3 commentary sentences per quotation. And that part, the commentary is the most important because that's your interpretation and analysis and showcase of your learning. So, of course, transition words, yes, they are a word and phrase that connect ideas, but they're important because they signal that a concept is being introduced. And so you really also need to provide with that transition a lead in that provides context to the quote or the evidence you're about to discuss. Because if you just lay it out there without introducing it, the reader hasn't followed your train of thought, and it can be choppy and jarring. So of course, your concrete detail will be a quotation or some evidence that you've paraphrased. Your commentary, it should provide analysis, interpretation, explanation, or insight into the text. It should not just summarize or paraphrase what the information was. It should comment on the importance of that information and what it proves about your thesis or your main claim or your central claim. Okay? And then you need a concluding sentence, which a lot of people just skip because they just want to have it over. But we really do need to use that as a second, or, well, actually more than second, like third or fourth opportunity to relate that evidence to the thesis statement in order to prove that claim. Okay, so then let's go to a sample body paragraph. This is from an assignment that we didn't do this year, but it's about hope, despair, and memory. So you're going to be very familiar with the information. So you're going to do this same format about your research topic. So I've labeled over here on the right all of the different parts, and then I color coded it so you can see it more easily. Okay, so here goes. In his Nobel Prize acceptance speech, famous Holocaust survivor Elie Wiesel utilizes a mix of literary and rhetorical devices to convey to his audience the lesson that humanity must remember and deal with its somber history in order to ensure a brighter future. All right, so that's the topic sentence and claim. And so then you have a transition. You don't have much lead in, and I would suggest and request that you would have a better lead in, but here it is. In paragraph 9, Wiesel states, the next question had to be, why go on? If memory continually brought us back to this, why build a home? Why bring children into a world in which God and man betrayed their trust in one another? So, you might hear where it says, before you say Wiesel states, add the information that Elie, after being released from Auschwitz, had some existential questions about the point of life or the purpose of life, and then go into the quote, less jarring that way. And this writer uses 3 commentary sentences for each piece of evidence, which I love. A higher graded essays will have more commentary, especially if it's analytical. With the help of rhetorical questions, Wiesel forces the audience to reflect and question their morals and philosophies. So that's commentary sentence 1. Additionally, Wiesel uses ethos in this excerpt to make his audience further reflect on the question, including common and relatable aspects of life, such as having children, being religious, and having a home. So that's commentary sentence 2. With the inclusion of rhetorical questions and ethos, Wiesel forces the audience to relate and sympathize with each other and reflect on the importance of memory to prevent atrocities made by humans to be made again. Okay, so here's a better transition and lead-in that has more context. Later in paragraph 9, Wiesel further builds on how humanity cannot forget the horrors that humans have caused in the past. So now we've got some context. He states, like the body, memory protects its wounds. When day breaks after a sleepless night, one's ghost must withdraw. The dead are ordered back to their graves. But for the first time in history, we could not bury our dead. We bear their graves within ourselves. Okay. And then commentary 1. Wiesel further builds on his use of ethos as he appeals and ties himself to the Jewish community by describing the pain he too felt while suffering in Auschwitz. The use of metaphors in this excerpt helps to explain um, how despite people eventually forgot and move on from pain in their lives as a way to heal. The injustices during the Holocaust were so terrible that forgetting isn't even an option for people who suffered through it. So then, this combination conveys to the audience that humanity must remember these injustices to avoid making the same mistakes. All right, and then you have your wrap-up sentence or your concluding sentence. Elie Wiesel combines various literary and rhetorical devices to send the message that humanity must remember the mistakes of the past to improve life in the future, to keep those mistakes from ever happening again. All right. So the more commentary, the more analytical, the better. I will have a second video though on the best way to write, commentary sentences. So have a great day.